From losing your tour card by an inch to golf shots that went from great to disastrous in a split second. These are the 20 ugliest zero luck moments in golf history. All right, it's Sunday, but not an ordinary Sunday. This day felt cursed from the beginning. JT Poston's final round at the Century in 2024 was already testing him. Burned a 5-footer at the 6th, lipped out from 3 feet at the 8th. The kind of day where nothing wants to drop, where you start questioning if the hole is actually regulation size. Then came the par, 5/9, 548 yards that could change everything. Poston stood 44 yards out for his third shot, staring down an eagle opportunity. He took his wedge and absolutely flushed it. Dead center. Perfect trajectory. But wait, what is happening? It popped right back out. It literally went in and somehow spun back out. At the end, this little thing finished 22 inches away. Tap-in birdie. But calling it a birdie feels wrong when you just watched an eagle disappear. Poston eventually finished tied for 5th, and you have to wonder how much that one shot cost him. Eagle becomes birdie. Glory becomes frustration. All because of a millimeter and too much spin. Golf doesn't care how perfect your shot is. Sometimes it just decides you're not allowed to have it. Next up, links golf in Scotland brings strange bounces, deep pot bunkers, and weather that changes every 5 minutes. But sometimes it serves up something so bizarre that even the rule book struggles to make sense of it. Sam Burns found himself in a fairway bunker on the par 5, 10th at the Renaissance Club during the 3rd round of the 2023 Genesis Scottish Open. He was 8 under, charging up the leaderboard, and decided to go aggressive with an iron toward the green. He caught it thin. The ball screamed into the bunker face and should have dropped straight back into the sand. Instead, it just hung there, defying gravity on the sod wall like it was glued to the grass. Poor Burns had no choice but to look down in defeat. But then he thought, hey, there has to be a ruling. So he called, and what followed was over 10 minutes of debate between officials. Could he get relief from the sod seam? The answer, no. The ball hadn't embedded in a seam that would interfere with his swing, so he had to play it as it lay. From an impossible stance, Burns took a hack. The ball hit the face again and bounced back into the bunker. He eventually made triple bogey 8, killing his round completely. Links golf at its cruelest. At least Burns and Poston eventually recovered. But what happens when the unlucky moment doesn't just cost you a tournament, it costs you everything? Or worse, when it all comes down to whether a piece of plastic was installed correctly. Joe Daly was grinding through the 4th round at the 2000 Q School final stage at PGA West when the par 3 17th hole turned into a nightmare. His tee shot found water. Penalty strokes piled up. Now he faced a 4-footer for double bogey. Daly hit it dead center. The ball rolled into the cup, hit the back, and then, impossibly, popped straight back out. He threw his hat down in disbelief. What just happened? Turns out the cup inside the hole was slightly askew, probably from someone yanking the flagstick out at an angle. The ball hit the top edge of the misaligned cup liner and jumped back out. Because of that, his score on the hole went from a potential double bogey to a triple bogey. Then, a bogey on 18 sealed it. After 108 holes, he finished at 14 under, just one shot shy of the top 36. He never made it back to the PGA Tour. One faulty cup installation, one stroke. The difference between a career and what might have been. Now, a shot so perfectly struck it deserved to be inches from the hole. Instead, it ended up 50 yards away in the wrong direction. Final round of the 2025 US Open at Oakmont. JJ Spawn started just one shot behind leader Sam Burns with everything to play for. After a brutal bogey on the opening hole, he found the fairway on the short par 4 second. Birdie opportunity. Time to get that stroke back immediately. From 93 yards out, Spawn hit a sand wedge that was absolutely dialed in right at the flag. The ball took one hop, then slammed directly into the flagstick. And that's when physics turned cruel. The ball ricocheted backward, caught the slope, and just kept rolling and rolling, off the front of the green, down the fairway. It didn't stop until it had traveled 49 yards back. In fact, it traveled back to where guys were hitting their drives early in the week. What should have been a tap-in birdie was now a pitch shot from nearly 50 yards out. He couldn't save par, second consecutive bogey. Minutes later, a third bogey dropped him completely out of contention. He was 5 shots back after those horrible breaks in the opening holes. A dream round turned into a nightmare start. Zero luck meets zero mercy on golf's biggest stage. Next up, here's a situation where the only real enemy is stubbornness. Pablo Larrazabal was cruising through his opening round at the 2019 Made in Denmark tournament when the par 5 11th hole decided to test his judgment. His third shot found a greenside bunker and buried itself deep. Not just buried, the ball was deeper into the ground than most caskets. The lie was brutal. Ball plugged against the bunker's edge. Stance awkward, feet uneven in the sand. Just enough room for a backswing, but zero space to swing through. The smart play screamed at him, "Take an unplayable, drop somewhere safer in the bunker, lose one stroke, and move on with your life." But Larrazabal is a fighter, and he decided to go for it anyway. He set up over the ball, tried to muscle it out with a half swing aimed at the only sliver of escape route available. The club hit the wall of sand first. The ball barely budged. It popped up an inch, caught the bunker edge, and rolled maybe 5 inches to the right. Same nightmare lie. Just slightly worse positioning. One wasted stroke. Still in the bunker, still unplayable. Now he had to take the drop anyway, except he'd burned a shot trying to be a hero first. You know what makes golf absolutely brutal? You can do everything right for 71 holes, control the tournament from start to finish, and still watch it slip away because of something you couldn't see coming. Tommy Fleetwood started the final round of the 2025 Travelers Championship with a 3-shot lead. By the time he reached the 16th tee, he still led by 2 shots. His first PGA Tour win, the achievement that had eluded him through 159 career starts, was 3 holes away. Then a bogey on 16 cut the lead to 1. On 17, he scrambled for a clutch par to maintain the advantage heading to the last. On the 18th, his approach landed on the front edge 40 feet from the pin. Not ideal, but manageable. His lag putt came up 7 feet short, right where Keegan Bradley had already stuffed his approach to 6 feet. Fleetwood's 7-foot par putt looked good off the putter, then it wasn't. The ball appeared to hit a ball mark and darted right, missing by inches. Bradley stepped up and drained his 6-footer for birdie. 2-shot swing on the 72nd hole. Victory snatched away by an unseen imperfection in the green. Right now, Fleetwood's record is 42 top 10 finishes on the PGA Tour, with 0 wins. But I know this one hurt the most. Sometimes the worst breaks in golf don't come from a bad swing. They come from a perfectly innocent shot that catches the wrong bounce at the worst possible time. Aaron Cockerill was in contention at the Catalunya Championship, grinding through one of the closing holes and trying to keep himself in the mix. His approach shot looked routine, maybe a touch offline, but nothing catastrophic. Just a manageable miss that should leave him with a straightforward up and down opportunity. Then, well, the worst happened. The ball landed and took a hard bounce straight onto the cart path. Now, cart paths are unpredictable. Sometimes they kick the ball back towards safety. Sometimes they send it further into trouble. This one chose violence. The ball rocketed off the concrete in the complete opposite direction from where any reasonable person would expect, into the bushes, disappearing completely from view like it had been swallowed by the course itself. He just caught one of the worst bounces imaginable, the kind that turns a makeable par into an unplayable lie and a dropped shot. Just so you know, golf doesn't care how well you struck it. Sometimes it just finds a way. And now, here's a disaster built entirely on terrible luck compounding brave decisions, where every attempt to salvage the situation only made things worse. Viktor Hovland was absolutely locked in during the second round of the 2021 WGC Workday Championship. Through 17 holes, he was 7 under for the day and just 2 shots off the lead. Then came the par 4 ninth, his final hole. 446 yards between him and a brilliant round. His drive found the fairway bunker. Not ideal, but manageable. From 144 yards in the sand, he bladed his wedge. The ball rocketed right of the green straight into the palmetto bushes. Standing over the ball in the thick vegetation, his caddy urged him to take an unplayable lie and accept the penalty. But Hovland is a fighter. He hacked it out with solid contact, perhaps too solid. It rolled all the way through the green and buried itself on the downslope of a bunker on the far side, finding perhaps an even worse situation than the one he'd just escaped. Now the lie was unplayable in a different way. The ball sat pressed against the steep lip of the bunker with almost no backswing. He tried anyway. On his downswing, he clipped the sandy lip, and the ball came screaming back over the green in almost comedic fashion, landing right back into nearly the identical spot in the palmetto bushes where this nightmare had begun just moments earlier. Finally, he took the unplayable, dropped and chopped out short of the green, hit his 7th shot, ran 9 feet past the hole, then made the putt, quadruple bogey 8. From 2 shots back to 6 behind, all wiped out on 1 hole. Moving on to a different kind of torture, when it's not one bad break, but the same bad break over and over again. Tommy Armour III found himself in what should have been a routine situation. His approach shot left him just off the green, sitting in the thick fringe with nothing but a short chip between him and the hole. Easy up and down territory. The kind of shot pros make look automatic. He set up over the ball, made his swing, and caught it heavy. The ball barely moved, just rolled a few feet forward before dying in the rough. Still off the green, still in the thick stuff. No problem, reset. Try again. But same result. The ball advanced a bit, but not enough. Still in the rough. He tried a third time, then a fourth, then possibly a fifth. Each attempt from almost the exact same spot, each one failing to climb onto the putting surface. The thick grass just swallowed every attempt, refusing to let the ball escape. By the final try, you could feel that helpless feeling when you're doing everything the same, but the grass, the slope, and terrible luck combined to make you look completely human. Next up, this one's ridiculous. The guy did absolutely nothing wrong, yet still ended up in a nightmare. Ross Fisher found himself in a precarious spot. His ball came to rest just on the edge of a bunker, teetering on the lip in a delicate position. Not ideal, but manageable. He had a shot. Before hitting, Fisher did what every golfer does. Took a few practice swings near his ball to get a feel for the lie and the shot. He wasn't being careless, just going through his normal pre-shot process. Then, during one of his rehearsal swings, something bizarre happened. The ball suddenly started moving. Maybe it was the air pressure from his club whooshing past. Maybe the ball was so perfectly balanced on the edge that it was always going to fall. Whatever the cause, the ball trickled down the slope and rolled straight into the bunker, without him even touching it. Since Fisher didn't directly cause the ball to move, it was deemed natural forces. No penalty stroke, but he had to play it from its new position, buried in the sand instead of sitting cleanly on the fringe. Maybe take this video as a warning next time you hit some practice shots. Moving on, when the golf gods decide your ball isn't allowed to stay in the hole, even gravity can't help you. Tiger Woods arrived at the 2020 Farmers Insurance Open chasing history, trying to break the all-time PGA Tour wins record with his 83rd victory. Torrey Pines was his kingdom. 8 wins there, including that legendary 2008 US Open on a broken leg. If anywhere felt like destiny, it was here. He started the final round 5 shots back, knowing he needed something special. After a sloppy bogey on the first hole, he took dead aim at the par 4 second from 141 yards. Perfect wedge. The ball took 2 hops, tracking straight toward the flag, then disappeared completely into the cup. Eagle, game on, Tiger's back. Except the ball didn't stay down. It went all the way to the bottom of the cup, then somehow hopped back out and settled next to the pin. Tap-in birdie instead of eagle. That set the tone for the entire week. More missed eagle chances. Putts that wouldn't drop. The kind of frustration that builds when perfect shots get punished by physics and bad breaks. Tiger finished T9, 6 shots behind winner Mark Leishman. The man who owned Torrey Pines for decades couldn't catch a break when he needed it most. Right shot, wrong result. Story of the tournament. Next up, you can train for pressure, wind, even bad luck. But when your own body turns on you, there's no comeback for that. Charlie Hull was making a solid run at the 2025 Amundi Evian Championship, sitting at 1 under through 12 holes during the opening round. She was striking it clean, playing smart golf, exactly the kind of form that makes her dangerous in major weeks. Despite never winning a major, Hull had top 10 finishes in all 5 LPGA major championships heading into Evian. This could have been her moment. Then, near the 3rd green, she sat down beside a bunker. Something was wrong. When she walked to the 4th tee, she collapsed. Medical staff rushed over, gave her a 15-minute break. Hull tried to push through, she even managed to hit her tee shot. But seconds later, she collapsed again, this time being stretchered off the course on a golf cart. She later told reporters she felt faint and was struggling with her eyesight. Hull revealed on Instagram that she'd been battling a virus all week but thought she could get it out. But she didn't do it. In a sport where control is everything, moments like this remind you that some things are simply out of your hands. But what if we talk about how the golf gods love to mess with you? Nicholas Colsaerts was defending his title at the 2013 Volvo World Match Play Championship in Bulgaria, facing Ryder Cup teammate Graham McDowell in the quarterfinals. On the par 4 10th hole at Thracian Cliffs, Colsaerts unleashed one of his trademark bombs, a drive that flew over a small stone toilet block near the green and landed in a red-staked hazard behind it. And you're not going to believe what happened next. The rules official explained that because the toilet block sat within the hazard line, Colsaerts' nearest point of relief was inside the bathroom itself. He had to drop his ball in the toilet. The drop rolled under the sink basin. After the initial drop inside, Concession was granted further relief from the immovable obstruction, the toilet, and dropped again in a grassy area just outside the building. Somehow he managed to chip on and save par, joking afterward that he ain't hitting it out of the loo. But the damage was done. McDowell won the match 2-1, ending Concession's title defense. Maybe the golf gods were just having a laugh that day because only they could script a par save that started in a toilet. For this one, we can't leave without talking about a hard luck story from the 1930s. About a man who just couldn't catch a break when it mattered most. Craig Wood became the first player in history to lose all 4 major championships in extra holes. 1933, British Open. Lost to Denny Shute by 5 in a 36-hole playoff. 1934 Masters, lost by 1 stroke to Horton Smith, then lost the PGA Championship to Paul Runyon on the 38th hole. 1935 Masters, victimized by Gene Sarazen's legendary double eagle, then lost the playoff. 1939 U.S. Open, lost to Byron Nelson after birdieing the 72nd hole just to get into the playoff. 4 majors, 4 heartbreaks, all in extra holes. Then, at 39 years old in 1941, Wood finally broke through, winning both the Masters and U.S. Open in the same year, becoming the first player ever to do so. Pure redemption after years of being golf's unluckiest man. Next up, that place is reserved for someone so unlucky, they hit a shot so bad it interrupted someone else's round. 2 holes away. Jordan Spieth stood on the 13th tee at Austin Country Club, facing Matt Fitzpatrick. The hole was a short par 4, and Spieth had a simple strategy. Pull driver, fly it up near the green, have an easy wedge in. He uncorked one-way right. The ball hit the car path, took a massive bounce, and launched over the grandstands like it had been fired from a cannon. And it didn't stop. The ball kept rolling onto the 15th green, where Patrick Cantlay was literally standing over his birdie putt. Spieth's ball came cruising across the putting surface, passing just feet from Cantlay as he stroked his putt. Cantlay looked up mid-stroke with a "what the hell just happened" expression. Because the ball hit the cart path, Spieth got a free drop about 50 yards away and somehow saved par to have the hole. He beat Fitzpatrick 3-1. Afterwards, Spieth joked about having to walk an extra 50 yards just to retrieve his ball. Of all the ways that shot could go wrong, landing on another green during someone else's putt might be the most embarrassing.